where's the coolest place that you've gotten a chance to land?
Let me think. So I think, honestly, probably like the ocean. Like my cousin has a boat and goes out on like, there's a bunch of little islands north of St. Pete.
Nice.
And I'll meet him out there in the SeaRey. So
oh, that's so cool.
Pretty fun.
Yeah, because you can probably just like pop open the canopy and like jump into the water, right?
Yeah, and it's nice. The SeaRey, you can just like pull back the canopy.
Yeah.
Even in flight, so you got like open cockpit, which I love.
Nice, nice. That's always good.
Or leave it cracked for, you know, a little bit of wind.
Yeah, I like open cockpit as long as I have a hair tie with me.
Yeah, no, that's been a problem. So the biplane, I took my friend's wife, and she didn't have a hair tie, and I'm in the back, and it's just like a full block. I'm like, I can't see anything.
Oh, that, and then also like your hair is just in knots for days, so you don't have that problem, but we do. Yeah, on a day like today, where would you go flying?
I probably wouldn't. I'm kind of picky. I like well, in Florida we get a lot of sunny days. So I go like perfect weather. And lately there's been a lot. We got a couple of fronts moving through, so that's why we got overcast right now.
Okay. Yeah, they came in just for us.
Yeah, seriously. It was beautiful last week.
Yeah. I mean, I like the winds. I feel like the winds like really like challenge me. In a Cessna 172, you're gonna get like pushed around a lot. Do you have 172 time?
Yep.
Yeah, so you're like a leaf on the wind, you're getting pushed all over the place.
Yeah.
In the Piper, it's so much easier because of the low wing. So like you can have like a direct crosswind and it could feel like nothing. But
yeah, I don't have any time. I don't think I have a time in a Cherokee. Maybe an Arrow, but Bonanza time.
Bonanza.
I have an uncle and a brother both have Bonanza, so.
Nice. Yeah, I should have asked you this question too. What kind of other airplanes have you flown in before?
I don't know, a number of different planes, but I mean, most, a lot of Super Cubs, a lot of like Cubs on floats, 206 on floats, Cessnas of different types, but more exciting stuff, Yak 54, it's 2 extra 300s, and recently actually flew an L39 Albatross, which was really
No way! Oh, that's so cool. We should go fly an Albatross now.
That's something else.
Yeah, that'd be silly.
Alright, so take me back to the very beginning. What was your first flying experience?
So my first memory really, or one of my earliest memories, is sitting in my grandfather's lap flying the Grumman Goose. And I was like holding the yoke in my hand. It was like massive at the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I must have like, I don't know, 5 or 6 or something. Super young. And I think I knew at that moment, I'm like, I gotta fly. Like, just in my blood.
So the bug bit you early on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then you said that you have like a lot of family in aviation too?
Yep, so my so I'm fourth generation, so my great-grandfather, my granddad, a lot of his siblings, my dad, my uncle's sister is an aircraft commander for the Marine C-130.
Nice.
Cousin flies for Frontier. Brother just got his IFR, but it's just a GA pilot like myself.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of aviation.
Yeah. I feel like GA flying is the best.
It is, and that's...
So much freedom.
Yeah.
At what point did aviation stop being cool and start feeling serious?
So never. Like, I thought if I did a career in aviation, like an airline pilot, dealing with all the delays and just going through the airports, and I mean, you pretty much you take off and you hit a button, just control an autopilot.
Yeah.
And I think at that point it would be a little more serious and not exactly as fun.
You have to show up at a certain time, you have to follow all the checklists. Well, I mean, like we follow the checklists too, but they have minimum equipment lists and then so many more regulations that we have to deal with.
Yeah, I know when I fly like, a passenger in the airline, there's always a delay or something. And they got the same problem. Being a pilot, you're in no control.
Yeah. And then you have to tell your passengers and then everybody's upset, but like you have no control over the situation.
Yep.
So you chose to build a career in drones instead of traditional aviation. What actually drove that decision?
So my uncle has been working in the film industry his whole life. His dad before him kind of founded a lot of like underwater photography.
Okay,
so,
very cool.
Very early on, he actually had RC helicopters with cameras before like the multi-rotor drone existed.
Okay.
And I started working with him like 2010, 2011 at a very young age. And I was like, because that was my hobby, RCs. And I was like, man, you can make money doing this? Like, that's pretty sweet.
Right.
I've been doing it ever since.
That's awesome.
And the film industry is pretty fun. Like, when you go to fly drones, I've been to the Caribbean. Got to go on like free, well, not free, but they're paying me to go on a cruise and like fly the drone off it. And you just meet some cool people and
That's really awesome.
really travel the world and just film some really cool stuff.
Yeah, getting your travel paid for. What's been like your favorite experience being a drone pilot?
Oh man, so there's as a drone pilot, I would say the very first FPV drones are the ones that are very fast and agile and actually take skill to fly.
Yeah.
And you wear like a VR headset.
Oh yeah, the FPV viewing
Yeah.
ones. Yeah.
So my first job was in the island of Dominica,
Okay.
or Royal Caribbean. I was there for like 8 days, just flying the FPV drone. I'm like diving waterfalls, checking out like the old tribal lands. And I'm like, this is
That's
like this.
cool. You get a little bit of work, a little bit of play.
Yeah.
I think that's the great thing about being like in media in general is like, you know, work feels like playtime because literally you're just trying to like capture an experience.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And then
Yeah.
occasionally I'll get to go like in a helicopter and do a full-scale filming.
That's
We've
cool.
done a couple of SpaceX launches,
Oh really?
which is like pretty cool to see in person.
Yeah.
We did the first Falcon Heavy, which, you know, the 3 boosters, and
Yeah.
we filmed the 2 coming back down to Earth landing.
That is
And,
very
like,
cool.
I mean, it almost looked like CGI in front of your face.
It doesn't seem real. I feel like even like seeing like a rocket launch in person probably doesn't seem real.
No, I mean, I saw a group in Florida, so I saw like the shuttle launches early on,
Yeah.
so I'm used to that, but seeing them land is like, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, right. And do you like know like how often they go off, like do the rocket launches?
Yeah, actually, there's an app on my phone called Next Space Flight.
Okay.
So every time it's like, oh, 10 minutes to a launch, I'll go outside, like, see if I can see it.
Perfect. Yeah, because I've always wanted to like fly past like the Space Coast and like see a rocket launch at the
I
same
mean,
time.
It's probably 2 to 3 times a week now.
Really?
So
Okay.
if you look, you would probably find something.
Alright, you're definitely gonna have to send me this app
Yeah.
later.
Alright, just don't bust the airspace.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. It was actually, I got a little bit of a funny story from that.
Oh yeah.
So I did the like the flight plan of where the helicopter was going to be within the Cape's airspace during the launch.
Yeah.
So we were 3 miles away from the launch, and we couldn't be any closer. So that was a Falcon Heavy. It launches, the boosters land, and we're like, hey Cape, can you give us clearance to like go close to the boosters after it landed to get some like close-up shot? And let me check. They're like, alright, you have to wait 7.5 minutes, and then you can approach the boosters. You're cleared to enter and like real close. We're like, alright, sweet. And the next day, we got a very strongly worded email from like the military. Like, this isn't at the VFR La La Land. But you didn't have the proper clearance. Or like the Cape cleared us. We were talking to the controller. I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, they weren't happy.
Yeah. That sounds about right. I remember there was like a Spirit airliner who almost busted like a presidential TFR.
Ooh.
Like hearing the ATC audio of that, he was like, "Get off your iPad,"
Oh man.
because they were just slow and they were responding, and I guess they didn't know that they were like getting close to like Air Force One or whatever it was.
Yeah, that TFR, because Trump comes to town a lot for the drone industry down
That's
there.
true.
It's
Yeah.
a, you know, a 60-mile diameter. It's a huge no-fly zone for drones. So you might have a shoot planned, and then you're like, I can't fly. And they're like, why not? You're like, well, Trump's in town, and there's no flying within like a 30-mile radius, so...
Yeah. All drones are grounded.
Yep.
So do people ever assume drones are less aviation, and then how do you usually respond to
Oh,
that?
for sure. Well, I was like, oh, I'm a real pilot too, don't worry about it. And they're like, hey, okay, you're cool then. But I think when they came out with 107, and like they called drone pilots, and you even get like a pilot certificate, and you're like...
Yeah, you have to get a Niagara and everything.
Yeah, but it's like, there's no flying test, it's just all knowledge based. So these guys flying they might not have any skill, and they do, well, you hear about all the people busting airspaces or getting close to airplanes.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's the reason why they have to do that knowledge-based
Yeah.
test.
but those people don't do it. Like the people that go to Best Buy and buy a drone just fly it.
Yeah.
They don't care about, you know, getting certified or checking out the airspace. And then it makes it harder for everybody else.
Yeah. everybody who does it the right way.
Yeah. And when I started, like, there were no laws. Like, drones were not really regulated. So it was like a free-for-all up until, I guess it was like 2014, maybe 13, when Section 333 came out. And
Yeah.
then they started being like, all right, hold on. We need to put, like, some regulations in place.
Oh yeah, yeah, because you can accidentally bust the airspace super easily.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been to Oshkosh in like the past couple years?
I actually never been.
Oh, okay, you have to go. So the Wednesday night air show, it's like, you know, fireworks on airplanes, and then they always have like a drone show too, and it's just like
Oh, nice.
fireworks, explosive airplanes, and drones, and it's the coolest experience ever.
Yeah, I always go to Sun and Fun because I'm like, you know, an hour drive away, but...
Yeah. Do they do a drone show at Sun and Fun?
Oh, no, I would just want to, like, go to Sun and Fun to be a part of it.
Okay.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
not into drone shows. That's a whole other, like, industry.
Okay.
Or part of it, I guess.
Yeah, those are really cool. I really like them. I don't think they're technically, they probably have to get Part 17 license, but all of those things are like programmed ahead of time, right?
Yeah, they pretty much just hit a button. Like, the work is getting the drones there and setting them up in the right order, and then the computer does the rest.
So looking back now, do you feel like drones gave you skills that translated back into flying?
Not drones, but I started with RC planes, and those definitely help you learn basic, like, physics and characteristics of airplanes.
Yeah, the aerodynamics behind the floor forces of flight.
Especially when I started, like, the power to weight was kind of similar to a real plane, where now it's just kind of ridiculous. You throttle up and go straight up. But,
Yeah.
like, I learned about stalls and stuff, you know, at a young age flying those things.
Oh yeah, because otherwise you could crash the RCs.
Oh yeah, that's actually a lot harder than you would think.
Yeah.
RCs, like, especially if you're a pilot, and then you fly an RC, you got it. But when it's pointed towards you,
Yeah.
like, you get confused like controls.
Yeah, I could see that because then you have to do like everything like opposite.
I mean, and if you keep track of the plane, it's all the same, of course. But obviously, if it's coming towards you and you go left, the plane turns right, and you're in relation to you. So you gotta think about that.
Yeah, I love watching those RC videos, and like sometimes like I'll go into the comments of them, and they'll be like, "This is AI," and I'm like, "But no,
Yeah.
it's not AI. It's just an RC."
Yep, I've got some of those comments.
Yeah. You don't know what's AI and what's not AI now.
For real, it's like, and I feel like the algorithm is pushing AI stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it
stop
is.
showing me this.
Yeah. Get rid of that AI slop. So tell me about your first instructor, or any instructor in general. What did they get right? What did they get absolutely wrong?
Have any of you guys heard M0A, Jason Schappert?
Oh yeah, Jason Schappert.
That was my first instructor.
No way! Oh my gosh, I love his audiobooks.
Yeah, I haven't kept up, but that's why I started with Jason. And he was funny. Every single time, he would have like a lunchbox, green grapes, and a chocolate muscle milk.
Nice.
He was always snacking on the grapes, like talking. And I'm like, man, it's a good thing I got a history in aviation, because you're just there like chilling, like.
Yeah.
But he instructed my cousin before me, so knew like we had a background and kind of knew what we were doing.
Okay, that's very cool. Yeah, I used his Instrument audiobook to prep for the oral portion of the truck ride, and then also the same for commercial, and that like helped a ton. I basically like, you know, played the audiobook like on my way to like go to flight lessons, on my way home from flight lessons, grocery shopping, anything, so that like I knew the questions that the DP was gonna ask like the back of my
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, he did a good job with that.
Yeah.
What's bad for me is like I was halfway through flight training and M08 took off and he kind of took off.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I kind of wanted to finish, but
Yeah.
And I was flying a 512 Romeo, which was like his first plane, and it was $70 an hour and he was only 30.
Oh,
I'm like,
nice.
$70 an hour, like you can't do that
Way
anymore.
back when in the day, before the YouTube channel and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. Then now he's like a big, you know, big in aviation. I'll see him at Sun and Fun, be like, hey man, and that's about it.
That's awesome. If you still have his contact, I'd love to go flying with him. So when I was starting my training, it was like during that big, like first like hiring boom. So like I had like a total of like 6 or 7 instructors during my private pilot training.
Yep,
Because they would get their hours and then they would be gone, and then I'd get a new instructor, and then they'd get their hours and then they would be gone.
Man, well, I had I think 4, and like this part of my private because Jason left. Then I got married and like went to college,
Oh yeah.
I tried.
It got in the way.
Yeah, I tried with another guy, but I was just too busy to finish. And then Sarasota had a bad experience because I have a background in aviation, been flying my whole life, and I was solo with 2 different instructors. So I'm like, all right, I need like 7 hours to finish. So I went to Sarasota. This guy named Jason, not Jason Schappert, different Jason. And I'm like, hey man, I'm almost ready. I need to work my radio calls because it's been a while since I've been in like Class Charlie, and I'm kind of weak on those. So that's like what I need, but I can fly. And he's like, all right, well, let's go up and see what happens. And like everything went fine, but I like did the read back wrong. I messed up on the radio, and like before I could correct it, he corrected it and was like, I can't believe you're not anywhere near close to soloing. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I would say another 20 hours at least. I'm like, all right, your controls, fly us back, we're done.
Oh my gosh.
And he was like, what? I'm like, no, fly us back, I'm done, man. And then I went to Leesburg where my cousin was instructing and finished in like 7 hours, like what I needed.
Yeah. When people get on you like that, it's like when they don't give you the space to learn or make mistakes, then like that they're like not the instructor for you, or like.
No. And some of them it sucks, but they're just there for the hours, so they're trying to stretch it out so they get their hours and get a little more money.
Yeah.
But I actually had a friend who went to that school, and he's like, about 80 hours, I'm almost ready to solo. I'm like, what? 80 hours? You should be done, dude.
Do you have any tips for people who are kind of like in like that leeway state, like trying to find an instructor and like it just like keeps not working out for them, like stuff that they can look out for?
I would say like go to a small airport like Manatee and try to find a local instructor that like owns a plane and take a flight with him and like see what they do. Because it's probably a much more chill environment.
Yeah.
And I think they might care a little more because at like small airports, they're not building time. They're just doing it because they like to fly.
Yeah. So, like I like the older instructors too,
yeah,
because like they like really dive in deep with like nav logs and all that kind of stuff, and like you don't think you're going to use it until you have to use it. So to know that is like super important.
And the older guys definitely are like, look outside, fly the airplane by feel, and then rely on your instruments. Where new people, I feel, are like, we're all in the cockpit. Let's not pay too much attention to what's going on outside.
Yeah. Do you want to go into detail about that SeaRey instructor?
Yeah, so that's actually a good example of someone who doesn't fly the airplane, but relies on instruments too much. So my SeaRey is a B-hole, and like it's not a rumor, but the SeaRey community is like, that's a terrible hole, it's dangerous. I was telling you guys earlier, if you push full forward on the stick at flying speed on the water, you're going to flip it. Like, well, yeah, duh. If you land a tail airplane and push forward on the stick at flying speed, you're going to flip.
Yeah.
And so it was hard to find an instructor to, like, get me checked out in the B-hole.
Yeah.
So the first flight the plane did in a few years because it was sitting in a hangar, had a new conditional inspection. The guy who did it was actually from SeaRey, so he, like, knows that plane very well.
Okay.
And the instructor, for some reason, was already nervous, was flying left seat. And I was like, all right, man, go take my plane up, like, get a feel for it. He has SeaRey time in the other hole, and he took off, and I was like, my airspeed's set. What do I do? I'm like, just fly the plane, dude. And he's like, no, we have no airspeed. I can't fly like this. I'm like, do I need to fly? Like, what is going on here? And he, like, hands me his phone. I was like, read out my airspeed on forward flight. I'm like, you're lucky he has a calm day because he completely missed the first approach, and he was, like, shaking. I'm like, dude, we're flying good. You just don't have airspeed. Like, you know this airframe. You should be able to fill it out.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, I don't know if I can fly with this guy anymore.
Yeah.
And I did as well. Actually,
I think I would also be freaking out without knowing what the airspeed is.
Yeah. So you got to, when the plane will tell you what it wants, you know.
Yeah,
You'll feel it.
Yeah, you just gotta look outside, see that sight picture, and also listening to the engine. I think is like important too. But yeah, I'd be freaking out with an airspeed.
Well, it's happened to me in a Bonanza, and like I was just like, oh, I don't have airspeed, I better go back, and that was like end of it.
Gotcha, yeah.
It's like you said, you know the RPMs, and you can feel it. You can feel when the stall's coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a lot of people need to like feel their planes more and fly by feel, and not just rely on instruments.
Yeah, get more in tune. Like that's the VFR stage. That's the look outside, get the sight picture, figure out where you want your nose to be in line with the horizon for straight and level, figure out where you want it to be for 500 foot per meter descent.
Yep.
The instrument stuff will come later.
Yeah, no. I mean, you need both, obviously, but
Yes.
you definitely need to be prepared for losing an instrument.
Yes. You need to be prepared for those emergency situations. Sorry, I like already have pilot brain, so like I'm a little slow on these. It's hard to like do a podcast and like
Fly? Yeah, I know.
fly at the same time. That's why I have Kylie in the back looking for traffic for me, but like,
It's pretty nice to have autopilot, though.
yes, the autopilot definitely does help. This is the best autopilot I've ever seen. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's a King's autopilot. I've used it in a couple of other airplanes, so when I saw that this airplane had it, I was like, yes, I'm getting it.
Nice.
Do you think flight sims actually help with real-world flying, or are they overrated?
No, I think especially the newer ones are very helpful. And like in 2D, if you're on a flat screen, it's really good at learning instruments and like instrument flying. And then if you have a VR headset and you fly, like the new flight sims are kind of insane. Like it feels like.
Oh yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator, like
Yeah.
the graphics, crazy.
Yeah, it looks three-dimensional. You're in the
Yeah.
cockpit. I actually learned to fly formation on there.
Oh really?
The first time I did it in real life, I'm like, this is the same thing. Like it was.
Right.
It was kind of like it's crazy how good it is.
Yeah.
Not to cut in on that, but I'm like super into the flight sim stuff and VR. Everything.
VR is like,
Changing. Yeah, it really is.
I know, like what you can do on there, and even the new one, they have like animals you can herd around, and crop dusting.
Oh yeah, no, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful.
Yeah, and I love how they add in like little Easter eggs. So like Las Vegas, like
Yeah.
you can see like the airplanes that fly people to Area 51
Yeah.
and stuff. So that's the really cool stuff.
The last one I have like 500 hours on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think flight sims are really good for like training, especially like instrument training, because like when you get into this environment, it's very overstimulating. You have like a lot of different things that you're supposed to be looking at. Also, like the engine's vibrating. There's like stuff going on outside the airplane too. There's wind constantly pushing you around.
Yep.
So being able to like practice those approaches without all of this stuff going on is going to help you 10 times more, like when you actually step into the airplane.
Oh yeah, a lot cheaper too, like per hour.
Oh yes, yes. And then every single CFI that I have talked to, like they say that their flying really changed, and they notice a difference in their students flying as well when they actually sit down and do the chair flying.
Oh yeah.
So, flight sims are just chair flying, but with like stuff actually going on.
Yeah. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. What's something you learned the hard way that sims or bugs just didn't prepare you for?
Good question. I don't know. I guess always be on top of the airplane and know each plane good. So I had a situation in the biplane where I took my friend's wife flying, and I have a throttle to my left, and it has a linkage going to her throttle, and that controls the actual engine throttle. And like I was over a pretty densely populated area, and it just went quiet. I was like, oh crap. I'm like, I guess I'm landing on I-75. There's no other option. Wind from the north, I'll do a 180 and land on it, maybe the median, see what happens. And then I started with my checklist. I was like, alright, fuel pumps on, master's on, mags are both. Where's my throttle? I was like, what? It's still running. And what happened is she put her elbow on the linkage, and it pulled the throttle to idle.
Oh my god.
I know there's open cockpit, like when the engine shuts off, you have a lot of wind noise and you don't know it's still idling.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's something I didn't know about that plane. So now I tell passengers like, hey, this rod here, don't touch it.
I mean, like, it's also tight quarters, so like it's super easy to like bump something.
Yeah. And she was like
not
looking
even
around with her phone and then just.
Yeah. That's why running checklists are so important.
Yeah.
You want to avoid the emergency. You want to avoid landing on I-75.
Yeah, no, I mean, during the, when it happened, I was like really calm. I was like, oh, it's gonna suck, but here we go. And then on the way back to the airport, I was like, I started getting a little nervous. Like, man, that was kind of scary.
Yeah. I feel like that's how like most emergency procedures go. Oh, this is gonna suck, but I gotta deal with it.
Yep.
That was like me and my friend. We were flying back from getting dinner somewhere, and we had an alternator failure. It was nighttime, so we're not like gonna fly around without an alternator. so we just decided to land somewhere, camp out overnight, and you know, you deal with it, but it also sucks at the same time, and you don't want to have to deal with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you definitely need an alternator. I had a film story. I wasn't a part of this flight, but they didn't have the permits to land in the Bahamas. Took off to Miami, flew to Bimini, and the girl left the alternator off the whole time who was flying. And they were shooting the island of Bimini, and then everything shut down, and had to put it down to the field. And they were stuck there because they weren't permitted to land in the Bahamas. They didn't have their passports.
Did they get detained?
Yeah, it was pretty. I don't know the full story, but it was pretty bad.
Ugh.
So my friend that was on the helicopter had his passport. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna walk away and go home. He just booked it out of there. He's like, see ya.
Nice. So if a newer pilot is watching this right now, what's one habit you wish you'd built earlier?
I mean, I grew up with aviation and was pretty fortunate to like learn those habits as second nature, I guess. So luckily, I don't think I have a bad habit yet.
Yeah.
Maybe I do. I just don't realize it. But,
yeah, we never realize our own bad habits.
Yeah. Hasn't got me in trouble yet, so that's good.
Yeah, yeah. No letters from the FAA, no phone numbers.
Yeah, no phone numbers yet.
What was your first plane like, and what did ownership teach you that renting never could?
So, my first plane legally wasn't mine. It was a biplane, and my uncle got it from my great uncle, and it's not a good flying airplane, to be honest. It's terrible, and they're bigger guys, so they're out of CG. And he was like, if you just take this plane and keep it, I don't want it anymore. So I got like 2 years of aircraft ownership experience without actually owning it. So I did the conditionals until the maintenance. And I'm like, this isn't too bad, because experimental is not, it's super expensive.
Yeah.
And then it came time, he's like, all right, you can either buy it from me, or I'm taking it back and selling it.
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, all right, you know what, this plane doesn't fly that great. I really love Seaplane, so that's why I chose a SeaRey.
Nice.
You can buy an older SeaRey pretty cheap.
Yeah, how long have you been flying the SeaRey for?
I got it in June last year.
Okay.
June or July. And, but with my grandfather, I flew with Grumman Goose. He has an L4 lake, my dad has a lake, so I have a lot of seaplane experience.
Yeah.
So it just felt good to be back, like, in a seaplane.
Yeah. So did aircraft ownership change the way you fly mentally and operationally?
I would say it makes me fly more. Because if you rent a plane, if you like flying and want to rent, and only fly an hour to a month, that's cheaper for sure. But to get your money's worth, if you own the plane, you have to fly more.
Yeah. Yeah, you do, in order to keep like the engine in good condition and everything like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're part of a flying club, people are like beating the hell out of those airplanes.
Yeah, when it's yours, you're like, I gotta take care of it now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I land softer. I also, like, care more about, like, what's in the maintenance logs other than just for check rides. Yeah, just...
Oh, you want to turn south? That's actually Lake Manatee.
Lake Manatee? Okay.
Yeah, so I want to show you where I got stuck.
Okay.
And as you can see, there's no, like, houses or really anything. It's just tree line. But on the north end there's a little dirt boat ramp with a dirt road that goes to, like, a little convenience store.
Okay.
So me and my cousin were thinking, we're just doing touch and goes in the morning, having fun. And I'm like, hey, what if we put the gear down, taxi up on the shore, and then we go get some snacks? He's like, oh, that sounds great. So we put the gear down, doesn't lock. I cycle it again, doesn't lock again, and then it doesn't come back up.
Oh no.
So like here we are taxiing in the water with the gear halfway down.
Yeah.
We can't taxi out, we can't take off. So we pull into this little dirt boat ramp, and we started trying things, looking at the breakers. We're like, I don't know what's going on. I went to the convenience store down the road and was like, hey, you got like any jumper cables or like tools I can use? He's like, no, but this lady who lives like next to the gas station that's a part of it does. Maybe you can ask her. And I go from there, I knock on the door, and like this crazy old, like true Florida lady, like older, maybe done some crack in her past. Super nice lady though. So I'm like just crazy. Like, what do you need? I'm like, my plane's kind of broken. You got any tools maybe I could use? She's like, yeah, sure. What do you need? And I'm like, I don't know. Like some cables, some voltmeters, some wrenches. She's like, sure. So I hop in her old Astro van with all the tools, and we drive back to where my cousin is sitting with the plane, and he just falls out laughing when he sees like this old lady driving. I get out of the back of her van.
That's hilarious. Were you able to get the gear fixed?
So what turned out happening was the motor and the actuator actually burned out, and there's no way to manually override. So luckily we used, her name was Tiffany, her tools, and like removed the actuator, and the locking mechanism still works. We put the gear up, locked them, and to be safe, we tied them to the strut. Because at SeaRey, the wheels just like go up. They don't go into the fuselage or anything.
Gotcha.
And then, what did I do? Then luckily I had a lot of fuel on board, and I took off, flew all the way to my dad's lake house, like an hour and a half north. Had just enough fuel to do that, and landed there. Was able to put the gear back down and stay up on shore and figure out how to fix it later.
Nice.
But yeah,
Where was it?
right where the bridge is to the right is that little bridge.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
It was cool because I'm like, man, I could like taxi up and like park the plane, get some snacks, and then it turned into a whole
Then
day.
you ended up just getting stuck. Yeah, that does sound like a whole day.
Yeah, it was fun though. And then the lady Tiffany, I'm like, hey, can I like give you some money or something for your time and tools? She's like, no, but come back, I want to ride. So I came back
Did you
here
take
to
a
ride, you know?
Nice.
And it was funny. It's like true Florida down there. So I landed, you know, beached on that same little spot, and there's two guys out there, like true rednecks. They're like, hey, what's up, man? It's full plane. I'm like, yeah. Like, I got an airboat. That's cool too. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And he's sitting there drinking like twisted tea. He's like, you want some twisted tea? I'm like, nah, I gotta fly the plane. He's like, oh, okay. Well, I got a bunch of them if you change your mind. I'm like, no.
You never follow the funnel, dude.
Yeah, but it's just probably like two good redneck Florida boys. And like, oh, you taking Tiffany for a ride? She's gonna hit the crack pipe. She'll be out. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's wild. That's so fun.
Yeah, I got it.
That's a good story. That's some type 2 fun right there.
And of course, that day I was flying in the morning. I had like an event in the afternoon I was supposed to attend, and I didn't make the event. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah. That's what happens sometimes.
Yeah. But now, because it was a one-off system, I just put a manual lever in there now. So now my gear is just manual. And like, I'm like, it can't go wrong, it just works.
Yeah. Alright, one more question I really wanted to ask. What surprised you most when you started flying on water compared to land?
So, I've, like, my first few flying experience were on water, so it's very second nature to me for a plane on water, and I think it's the most fun you can have in a plane. Like, it's just unreal, like, landing on water. What surprises me, I kind of understand it now, but I'm like, how do so many people do a gear down water landing? And that's like probably the number one killer of seaplanes is like, oh, you know, gear down, let's land on water. Like, no, gear up, water landing. That's every time you land on water, you say gear up, water landing.
Yeah.
And you make sure your gear is up. And I think pilots, even really high time pilots who worked in, you know, like airlines, they're so used to putting the gear down for landing.
Yeah.
I think they start getting into like the habit, and they're like, gear down, I'm landing. And they're not thinking water. So they configure the plane for a typical landing, and then it's a really bad day when you do that.
Yeah, because then that probably pretty much like knocks out your gear.
No, it's like most planes, it's gonna flip you as soon as you touch.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, you gotta get out of the plane, hopefully. So, but, yeah, it's really...
I think we've had this debate before, like, where is it safer to land on the beach or in the water?
Like if you have a dead stick?
Yeah, like if you're not in an amphibious plane, you're just like in a plane like this.
Yeah. Oh man, that's hard because like here the beaches are crowded.
Yeah.
So you would probably hit somebody. I would do a wheels up water landing.
Wheels up
like
water
just
landing.
swing, like kind of close to shore, but was it a Piper? Somebody actually recently did that on Tampa Bay.
Yeah, there was one recently out in San Diego too, where somebody like came in and landed on the beach. Yeah, I'd be scared of hitting people. That, and then also I know like it's like rougher.
Oh, the sand it would grab you.
Yeah, like it would grab you. You can go prop forward and
Alright, we should talk about my granddad or my great granddad.
Oh yeah, dive into that.
So my family has a lot of like cool history in aviation. My great grandfather was flying before the FAA was established, like long time ago. I forgot when he was born, but I mean, long time ago.
Yeah, when was the FAA established?
What was that?
A long time ago. A long time.
Yeah. Well, so my granddad is 93 and still alive.
Okay.
So his great grandfather's long, gone, but well over 100 years ago. And FAA was established. He actually got pilot license number 77.
Ooh, that's cool.
And he got his aerobatic permit signed by Oval Wright.
Huh.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
And then, so when Charles Lindbergh did the transatlantic flight,
Yeah.
he came back on a military vessel.
Okay.
And there's a huge TFR, you know, like usual. But anyway, so there's a huge TFR, and he flies out in a Waco 90 horsepower open cockpit biplane with single ignition. So that one spark plug of the cylinder. So if he lost one plug, he would have gotten in the water. He flew out over 40 miles with just a compass, and he had 9 messages in a bottle to invite Charles Lindbergh to his airport. So he like kept going over the military vessel, dropping the bottles, kept missing. He literally had 9. He missed 8 times. He's like, all right, the next one I gotta make it on the deck of the boat. So he gets real low, like almost hit the rigging, and like drops a message.
Yeah.
And one more pass, and all the commotion made the people come to the deck. Charles Lindbergh actually had the invitation and was like waving to him. And they're like, yeah, nice, made it. And then after the fact, my granddad got invited to like a ballet or whatever, you know, like a party they threw for Charles.
Yeah.
And the ship captain's like, were you that crazy pilot? He's like, yeah, that was me. He's like, you're a lucky son of a gun. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know what you were doing. My orders to the crew were to shoot you down on the next pass.
Oh my god.
And he's like, whoa, glad they, you know, didn't do another pass.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Charles actually did visit his airport. So it was pretty cool.
Awesome. That is very cool. So your family has been in aviation since the beginning, basically.
Yeah. He did say the FAA ruined flying, so. Yeah.
I mean, low key, but I mean, at the same time, we love our air traffic controllers, and
Oh yeah.
they keep us safe, and unfortunately, so do the rules and regulations.
Could you imagine, like, you did whatever you wanted, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's rules now. He's like, what are you talking about, there's rules? I've been doing this for like 10 years.
Right? Like, there's that one story about, like, the guy who was, like, making bets at a bar, and he was like, I could go steal a plane and land in front of this bar right now. He went and he did it. And then, like, 10 years later, he's telling the story in the same bar, and then he's like, I could do it again, and then he did it again.
Yeah. No.
Like, we don't hear stories like that anymore.
No.
And then also the old cowboy flyers, like Charles Eager, like, we don't hear their stories anymore either.
And we have a lot of freedom here, like, compared to Europe.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
we can just take off and go.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for watching another episode of Conversations in the Cockpit. Make sure that you like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, comment, any way you guys want to engage, so that we can continue these conversations. Anyways, I hope you like this episode. See ya!